You ever reach a point where respect ain't a request anymore, it's a boundary? Because when someone tries to own your peace, when they try to walk onto your land, onto the life you built with your hands like they're the sheriff of your story, you realize this ain't about property anymore. It's about principle. The day she sent that patrol team to my farm, I knew this was war. Not with fists, not with rage, but with truth. And silence that hit louder than any argument ever could. Respect isn't something you ask for like a favor. It's something you build brick by brick through every choice, every stand, every moment you refuse to be disrespected. It's forged in silence, in the moments you say no without apology, when others expect you to bend just to keep the peace. Because sometimes peace isn't peaceful at all. Sometimes it's a test to see how much of yourself you're willing to lose just to keep someone else comfortable. That's the hidden cost of letting things slide, of letting people step past the line you drew in the dirt, pretending it's not a big deal. But every time you let it go, a part of you goes with it. One small compromise at a time, one silent surrender after another, until one day you wake up realizing that respect isn't lost all at once. It fades, slowly, quietly, until you can't even recognize yourself in the mirror. That's why boundaries matter. They aren't walls built from pride. They're fences made from self-worth. You don't build them to keep the world out. You build them to keep yourself in, to protect what's sacred, what you've worked for, what no one else has the right to claim. People who understand respect will see your boundaries and nod in understanding. The ones who don't, they'll call you difficult, dramatic, controlling, but that's because they've never had to earn what they have. They've never had to protect it from people who take advantage of kindness. Respect isn't requested. It's enforced through boundaries, through the quiet strength of knowing your worth and defending it without apology. It's when you stop explaining yourself to those who've already decided not to listen. It's when you walk away from arguments that don't deserve your energy. It's when you stop chasing approval from people who only notice you when you're useful. That's when respect begins to take shape, not as something given, but as something mirrored. Because when you respect yourself enough to draw the line, others either rise to meet it or fall away trying to cross it. People will test you. They'll question your tone, your choices, your right to stand your ground. They'll disguise their disrespect as humor, their control as concern. They'll call it just a favor when it's really a demand. But you'll know better. Because once you've been walked over enough times, the dirt on your back becomes a lesson that no one can trample you without your permission. Boundaries teach you who values your space and who only values your silence. They reveal the difference between those who want access to your life and those who've earned a place in it. So you learn to stand firm. You learn that no is a complete sentence. You learn that protecting your peace isn't selfish. It's survival. You learn that respect isn't something you wait for from others. It's something you live, breathe, and embody in every choice you make. Silence is a weapon most people underestimate. It's the space between the noise where truth speaks the loudest. When someone crosses a line, they expect a reaction, shouting chaos, proof that they've gotten under your skin. But when you give them silence, you take away their control. You strip the drama of its oxygen. You turn their noise into echoes that bounce back at them. That's what they fear most, not your anger, but your calm. Because calm means you're thinking. Calm means you're seeing them for who they are, not who they pretend to be. And in that moment, truth becomes sharper than any argument could ever be. There's a kind of strength that lives in restraint. The kind that doesn't need to prove itself, doesn't need to explain its reasons to people who already decided to misunderstand. When you stay quiet in the face of disrespect, it's not weakness. It's strategy. It's choosing to let truth do the heavy lifting. Because truth doesn't need volume to be heard. It needs time to be revealed. And when it does, when the dust settles and the lies lose their shine, everyone sees who was standing with integrity and who was hiding behind noise. People who thrive on control hate silence. They want chaos because chaos keeps you reacting instead of thinking. They want you emotional, defensive, desperate to prove your side. But when you give them nothing, no reaction, no energy, no validation, they lose the power they thought they had. Silence isn't surrender. It's observation. It's gathering every piece of their arrogance, every word they twist, and saving it as proof that you never needed to shout to be right. Sometimes the loudest sound in the room is your silence. It unnerves people who feed off conflict because it exposes them. It shows the world who they really are when no one's fighting back. You start to see it. The cracks in their confidence, the fear behind their control. They begin to crumble. Not because you attacked them, but because you refuse to play their game. That's what truth does when it's patient. It doesn't explode. It unfolds. And when the truth finally comes to light, there's no need for, "I told you so." The evidence speaks for itself. The people who once doubted you start connecting the dots. They see the calm you carried wasn't weakness. It was wisdom. The truth had been sitting there the whole time, waiting for the noise to die down. That's the beauty of silence and truth. They work slowly, but they never fail. You start to realize that not every battle is fought with words. Some are won through composure, through the power of saying nothing, doing nothing, yet standing for everything that's right. Because when you let truth speak on its own, it doesn't just defend you, it defines you. Peace isn't something you find by accident. It's something you fight for. It's something you protect with quiet strength and unshakable conviction. The world will always test it. People will push, provoke, and pry just to see how far they can go before you break. They'll disguise intrusion as concern, manipulation as friendship, and control as guidance. They'll walk into your life with muddy shoes, expecting you to clean up after them because you've done it before. But there comes a point when peace stops being a wish and becomes a responsibility. You realize no one's going to guard it for you. You have to stand between what's right for you and what others expect from you, even if that means standing alone. Peace doesn't come from pleasing everyone. It comes from learning when to walk away. It comes from choosing silence over chaos, distance over disrespect, and stillness over endless explanations. You start to understand that not every battle deserves your attention. Some things don't need to be fixed. They need to be released. That's when you begin to see the difference between protecting your peace and running from problems. Protecting your peace means facing what needs to be faced, but refusing to drown in it. It means setting limits, saying no, and not feeling guilty for doing so. Because the moment you let guilt dictate your boundaries, your peace starts to crumble. There's a sacredness in solitude, a calm that only comes when you stop needing to be understood by everyone. You realize that peace isn't loud or dramatic. It doesn't demand to be noticed. It's in the quiet morning air, in the way you take your time before responding, in how you choose grace when anger would be easier. It's not weakness. It's power in its purest form. Control over yourself when the world around you tries to pull you apart. Protecting that kind of peace takes courage. It means disappointing people who benefited from your chaos. It means being labeled cold, distant, or selfish simply because you stopped letting others dictate your emotions. But you'll find out that peace isn't for their comfort. It's for your survival. There's beauty in the moment you stop explaining your boundaries. When you stop giving reasons for why you protect your energy, why you walk away from gossip, why you choose silence over arguments that lead nowhere. That's when you know you've grown. Because protecting your peace doesn't always look graceful. Sometimes it looks like blocking a number. Sometimes it looks like saying nothing when you have every reason to speak. Sometimes it looks like rebuilding your world in silence while everyone wonders where you went. But that's the cost of peace. Privacy, solitude, and strength. The kind of strength that doesn't show off but sustains. The kind that refuses to let chaos win. The kind that stands quietly, unwavering because it knows what it's protecting, is priceless.